See, there's a watermelon out there that almost nobody grows anymore, and for the life of me I cannot figure out why. 'Cause this little thing starts setting melons faster than any watermelon I ever planted in all my years. And when you finally cut one open, well, my grandkids, they swear up and down it tastes like candy, straight up candy. It's called Blacktail Mountain. Most folks have never even heard the name, but by the time we're done here today, you're going to wonder why you ever wasted a whole long summer waiting on them big watery grocery store melons. So pull up a chair. Let's talk about it. Now let me tell you where this melon even comes from, 'cause honest to goodness, it's a heck of a story. Back in the 1970s, there was a young fella named Glenn Drowns living way up in the mountains of northern Idaho. And up there the summers are short and the nights get downright cold. We're talking summer nights dropping to around 43 degrees, regular. Now everybody knows a watermelon wants it hot, long hot summers. So up in that cold mountain country, you just couldn't grow one. Couldn't be done, folks said. But this kid, and get this, he was only 17 years old. He wasn't going to take no for an answer. So he set out to breed himself a watermelon that could ripen up fast and sweet in that short cold season. Crossed a couple varieties together, picked out the ones that ripened the very earliest, saved them seeds, and did it again the next year. And the next. 4 years he worked at it, this teenager, till he had it just right. And that, my friends, is the Blacktail Mountain watermelon, named for that dark, near black tail end of the rind. And here's the thing that gets me. Among the folks who really know their melons, the serious old growers, this one's a legend. There's a famous melon expert, a lady named Amy Goldman, grew herself over 200 different kinds of melon, wrote the book on it, and she says Blacktail Mountain is the gold standard, the one she judges every other watermelon against, bar none. And yet, you walk into your average garden center and ask for it, and they'll just look at you funny. Nobody stocks it. Nobody talks about it. That right there is the shame of it, and it's exactly why I'm making this video. And you might be sitting there wondering, well, if it's that good, how come nobody grows it? How'd it just disappear? Fair question. And the answer's kind of sad, really. See, them big seed companies and the grocery chains, they don't care a lick about flavor. What they care about is a melon that's big and tough enough to ship halfway across the country in a truck without bruising, and looks pretty stacked up in a bin. So that's what they bred for, size and shipping. And flavor, well, flavor got left behind somewhere along the way. A little 6-pound melon that tastes like heaven, but bruises easy and don't ship great. No money in that for the big boys. So it quietly slipped off the shelves, and a couple generations of folks grew up never knowing it existed. But here's the good news. It never died out. Old-timers and seed savers kept it alive, passing them seeds hand to hand, year after year, just like Glenn intended. And that means you can still get a hold of it. They didn't beat it. They just stopped selling it. Big difference. Okay, so let's talk about that name in the title, how fast this thing really is. Now, I'll be straight with you, like always. There's no such thing as a ripe watermelon in 55 days flat, no matter what anybody tells you. Most of your big picnic watermelons, your standard grocery store types, they need 85, 90, even 100 days of hot weather to ripen up. All summer long you're babying them. But Blacktail Mountain, it is hands down one of the very earliest watermelons that exists on this earth. It starts throwing little melons on the vine fast, fruit setting on there around that 55-day mark. and the whole thing ripens up in roughly 65 to 75 days. So while your neighbor's big melon is still a hard green softball in August, you're already slicing into ripe red sweet ones, weeks ahead. That's the magic of it. It don't make you wait. Now let me tell you what it actually looks like, 'cause it's a funny looking thing and I love it for that. On the outside, it don't look like your classic striped watermelon at all. It's round, about the size of a volleyball, and the rind is so dark green it looks darn near black, like a black bowling ball sitting out there in the patch. Most of them run about 6 to 12 pounds. Nice icebox size, fits right in your refrigerator, perfect for a family to finish in a sitting or two. But it's what's inside that'll get you. You cut one open, and the flesh is this deep, deep scarlet red. Real pretty, and it's crisp, crunchy even, which is a little unusual for a melon this juicy. Most of your real juicy melons go soft and mealy. Not this one. It stays crisp and just explodes with sweet juice. That's the candy my grandkids were going on about. First time I cut one for 'em, they got real quiet. And then the little one looks up and says, "Grandpa, this tastes like candy." And I'll be darned if she wasn't right. So who's this melon for? Well, here's the beautiful part. It's for just about everybody, but especially the folks who've been told they can't grow watermelon at all. I hear it all the time. "Oh, my summers are too short, too cold up here. Watermelon's a southern thing." And listen, I get why you think that. But Blacktail Mountain was bred for exactly that problem. Cold nights, short season. That's its home turf. That's where it was born. But here's the kicker. It turned out to be tough as nails and adaptable, so it grows just as happy down in the hot, humid south as it does up north. Best of both worlds. And 'cause it's small, you don't need a giant field. A little garden bed, a big container on the patio, you can grow this thing. Oh, and one more thing. It's an heirloom, open pollinated, which means you can save the seeds from your best melon and plant them again next year, free, forever. Try doing that with them fancy hybrids. All right, so now let's get into actually growing it, 'cause I want you to have success your first try. And the number one thing, the thing you gotta get right, is warmth at the start. Watermelon seeds, this one included, they will flat out not sprout in cold soil. Below about 65 degrees, they just sit there and rot. So you got two ways to go. If your season's short, start your seeds indoors in little pots on a sunny windowsill, about 4 weeks before your last frost. Not too much sooner, though. A watermelon gets big and sulky and don't like being transplanted once it's overgrown. Or, if you got the warm weather, you just direct sow 'em right in the garden after all danger of frost has passed, about a ½ inch deep. And here's an old trick that works wonders. Lay down a sheet of black plastic mulch over your bed first. That black plastic soaks up the sun and warms your soil up a good 10 degrees. Them melon roots love that warm dirt, and it'll push your harvest even earlier. Give each plant about 3 feet of room all the way around, 'cause even though it's an early melon, it still likes to vine out and ramble a bit. Hey, quick favor before I get to the good stuff. If you're enjoying this and you want to grow more of these old forgotten varieties, go on and tap that subscribe button down there. I dig up this kind of thing every week. The heirlooms and the oddballs nobody else is talking about. Anyhow, now let's talk about keeping it happy through the summer. So once your blacktail's up and growing, it's honestly not a fussy plant. Give it full sun, 8 hours a day, the more the better, 'cause sun is what makes the sugar. Water it deep and steady while it's growing and setting fruit, about an inch or two a week, right down at the roots. You don't want to be sprinkling the leaves all the time. That just invites disease. Now here's a mistake folks make. They dump a bunch of nitrogen fertilizer on, the high nitrogen stuff. And what happens? You get a big, beautiful jungle of leaves and vine and hardly any melon. The plant's too busy growing green. So go easy on the nitrogen. Once you see them little melons setting on, switch over to feeding it some potassium. That's the nutrient that builds fruit and sugar. And let the bees do their work. You need them blossoms pollinated to set fruit. So plant a few flowers nearby and don't go spraying chemicals all over your bees. Now let me save you some heartache and run through a couple problems folks bump into, 'cause they're easy to dodge once you know 'em. First one, you got a big healthy vine, lots of flowers, but no melons setting on. Two usual culprits there. Either you overfed it nitrogen like I warned you about, so it's all leaf and no fruit, or them flowers just aren't getting pollinated. See, a watermelon's got boy flowers and girl flowers, and a bee's got to carry the pollen from one to the other. No bees around, no melons. If that's your trouble, you can play bee yourself. Take a little paintbrush, or just pluck a boy flower and dab it right into the center of the girl flowers. The girl ones, they got a tiny little melon already swelled up behind the bloom. That's how you tell them apart. Second problem, your melons crack or split open. That's almost always uneven watering. You let it go bone dry, then you dump a whole bunch of water on it once, and the melon swells up too fast and busts its own skin. So keep that water nice and steady is all. And third, if some little melons start forming and then go yellow and shrivel up and drop off, don't you panic. That's normal. The plant's just shedding the ones it can't support so it can put everything into the good ones. Let it sort itself out. Now here's the real secret. The one thing that separates a candy-sweet melon from a watery blah one. And it's almost too simple. You got to ease off the water near the end. See, in that last week and a half, before your melon's ripe, you cut way back on the watering. Let it get a little thirsty. 'Cause if you keep pouring water on right up to harvest, all that water goes straight into the melon and dilutes it. Waters down all the sugar. That's exactly why so many store-bought melons taste like nothing. They're pumped full of water to make them heavy and big. But a melon that's been allowed to dry down a touch at the end, basking in that hot sun, all them sugars concentrate up. That's your candy. Heat and a little thirst at the finish line. That's the whole trick, and now you know it. Last thing, and it's the part everybody gets wrong, knowing when to pick it. 'Cause here's the cruel truth about watermelon. Once you cut it off that vine, it is done. It will not ripen any more on the counter, not one bit. So you got to get it right. Now with Blacktail Mountain, you got a few good signs. First one, look at the curly little tendril, that pigtail-looking thing on the vine, right where the melon attaches. When that tendril shrivels up and turns brown and dry, that's your melon telling you it's about ready. Second, roll it over gentle and look at the belly, the spot where it's been laying on the ground. When that ground spot goes from white or pale green to a nice creamy buttery yellow, you're getting close. And third, give it a thump with your knuckle. A ripe one sounds deep and dull and hollow, kind of a thunk. A green one rings higher and tighter. You put all three of them together and you'll know. And the good news, once you do pick it, Blacktail keeps real well, 2-3 weeks easy on the counter. So you got time to enjoy your harvest. So let me wrap it all up for you. Blacktail Mountain, bred by a 17-year-old kid up in the cold Idaho mountains to ripen fast where nothing else would. It's one of the earliest melons there is, setting fruit early and ripening weeks ahead of them big, slow grocery types. Dark, near black rind, deep scarlet flesh, crisp and juicy and sweet as candy. Grows up north, grows down south, grows in a container. You start it warm, give it sun and room, feed it right, and then ease off the water at the end to sweeten it up. Pick it when that tendril's brown and the belly's gone buttery. That's the whole thing. Anyway, that's about it, really. Do yourself a favor this year. Go find yourself a packet of Blacktail Mountain seeds online. Plant yourself one little hill of it and just see. I got a real strong feeling it's going to be the best watermelon you ever grew. And maybe, just maybe, you'll be the one telling your neighbors about it. Take care now, and I'll see you next time.